Grok Bot and Buzz are both being pitched as agents that keep working after you close the laptop. So I pulled every pricing page, benchmark, and community review. Both companies will actually stand behind to see if either one backs that up. The biggest surprise, Grok Bot wins 4 of the 5 tests outright, and Buzz still might be the one you actually want running your day-to-day work. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which agent deserves your subscription, and why the spec sheet winner isn't automatically the daily driver winner. Grokbot's pricing is at least published, which already puts it ahead of Buzz here. It runs $200 this month through Cursor Ultra, drops to $120 per seat per month on Cursor Premium Teams, or comes bundled into the $300 a month Super Grok Heavy plan. Buzz, on the other hand, has no published figure anywhere, not a pricing page, not a launch post, nothing a budget-conscious buyer can actually point to. But Grokbot's number comes with a catch worth flagging now. There's no spend cap. Community consensus says that $200 price is really only justified once you're already getting Cursor Pro benefits bundled in, and anything past your allowance gets billed per token on top of the subscription. Grokbot takes this test on transparency alone, but it's not a clean win since an unlimited token bill is its own kind of expensive. That's a real transparency gap if you're trying to build a cost projection before you commit. My name is Brian, and I spend most of my week digging through AI agent pricing pages, benchmarks, and documentation, so you don't have to piece it together yourself. Grok 4.6, the model underneath Grokbot, leads on Cursor Bench and Frontier Code, 2 of the more cited coding benchmarks in the space right now. Community reported, but treated as fairly reliable across multiple outlets. It also jumped from roughly 15% to 26% on terminal-based agentic tasks compared to the previous Grok 4.5 model, a real generational leap for actually finishing multi-step coding jobs instead of just answering questions about them. It's not a clean sweep, though. On Deep SWE, Grok 4.6 trails GPT 5.6. So if long-horizon software engineering work is your specific use case, that gap matters. Buzz simply doesn't have a benchmark suite to check against, so there's nothing to compare it to on raw coding ability. Grokbot wins this test clearly, not because it's undefeated everywhere, but because it's the only one of the two with numbers on the board at all. Grokbot runs on a dedicated cloud instance that's always on, 24/7, according to its own documentation and independent coverage. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. That means a job doesn't stall out the moment you close your laptop or step away from your desk. The bot can sign into apps, tools, and websites on its own, do the work, and come back with something finished waiting for you, which is a genuinely different experience than a chat window you have to babysit. Buzz doesn't have comparable data here. Community sentiment around it is positive, people like using it, but there's no measured speed or reliability figure to point to, so it stays unverified in this comparison. Grokbot wins on architecture alone. Persistent cloud execution beats an unmeasured claim every time. Grokbot runs on a dedicated cloud instance that's always on, 24/7, according to its own documentation and independent coverage. Stick with me because the last 4 tests are where this decision actually flips. Grokbot ships with a 500,000 token context window, which is a real number you can plan a workflow around. Long multi-step tasks without constantly re-explaining context to the model. The catch is that usage is capped weekly, and the exact size of that allowance isn't published. So you're working within a boundary you can't fully see in advance. Combine that with the earlier point about no spend cap, and heavy users can end up in a strange spot. Capped context on one side, uncapped billing on the other. Buzz has no comparable. Next up is deployment and modality, the test that quietly decides whether the rest of this comparison even matters. On deployment and modality, Buzz pulled clearly ahead once the workload got real. So Buzz takes deployment and modality, and the scoreboard shifts its way. Here is where Grok Bot clearly pulls ahead of the field. Now, here's where Buzz clearly pulls ahead of the field. Pick the one whose single biggest strength matches the job in front of you today. One thing the docs never spell out will quietly cost you if you miss it. If this helped, the next breakdown on the channel goes even deeper.